It's an impressive phone. It's just that bumpiness is so bumpy.
Hey there, welcome to Basic AF. This is episode 70. Show notes for this episode can be found at basicafshow.com/70. And this is our recap of Apple's recent awe-dropping event. How's it going, everybody? I'm Tom Anderson. And he, the always punctual Jeff Battersby. How's it going, my friend?
Tom, do I get a check for being tardy today?
Well, it's the old Van Halen song, Hot for Teacher. I don't feel tardy, so we'll just roll with that.
Yeah, tardy's certainly a thing. Through no fault of my own in this particular case. We had scheduled to be here at 4:30, and circumstances being what circumstances can be, I got here 4:45, or very close, 4:46 maybe.
Pretty good.
I told you when I was going to be here. I know I wasted your whole day. You're probably waiting to have dinner or something, and here I am screwing you up. So
no, I've been just chatting back and forth with Joe and Gannon about upgrades on Monday.
Oh, right.
But we'll get into
the guys you're cheating on me with.
Yes, okay. Those guys.
Yeah.
So
fair.
We're going to talk about the following, probably in this order, but who knows? We're not going to go in the order of the event. I think we'll put the headline stuff up front for this one in case people need it. Dip out early, as they say. iPhone Air, iPhone 17, 17 Pro, Pro Max, new Apple Watches, AirPods, all that stuff they announced, it'll be a week ago as of today.
Correct.
Everything available for pre-order now, launches this Friday. Also, real quick, before we get into the hardware and things, the new operating systems that we've been beta testing and talked about quite a bit will be released today. Usually that's around 1 p.m. Eastern, so that could be later today, depending on what time you're listening to the show. But they will be out today, and now we can jump into it.
Hi, Tom. Yeah, let's jump.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we both watched this kind of together apart. We should have done SharePlay, Tom. That would have been fun, except for I couldn't find the freaking thing on Apple TV+. Imagine that. I had to watch this on YouTube, Apple's event. So good luck to me. I spent 20 minutes trying to figure out how to do it. It would only give me last year's iPhone event. But nonetheless, did watch it, texting back and forth to each other as we do. And we're going to do it in this order. So iPhone Air, super de-duper thin, right? Titanium frame, A19 Pro, C1X modem, which is Apple's modem. Twice as fast modem as the C1 in the iPhone 16e.
Which just came out like 6 months ago.
I know, right? Which means they must have had this stuff in the engineering channel for a good long time. But nice that Apple, again, Apple, when they control the hardware, things tend to be kind of great. 6.5-inch Super Retina XDR ProMotion display, always on 3,000 nits peak, 1 nit minimum. I'm back to Sesame Street now. Ceramic Shield 2 improves scratch resistance. 18 megapixel with center stage front camera, and there's something pretty slick about these cameras that I kind of like. Rear camera, single 48 megapixel fusion camera. Optical zoom options of 1 and 2x. Battery charging all day, 27-hour video playback. I'm going to tell you something right now. In any of the things that we've any of these phones, I've never gotten that number. I don't know what they're doing to get 27 hours of playback.
Yeah, me either.
Anyway, MagSafe up to 20 watts with 30-watt adapter or higher. Fast charging 50% in 30 minutes, which is actually pretty nice. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty solid. USB 2 connectivity, and then storage in colors. Storage 256, 512, and 1 terabyte. Colors space black, cloud white. Light gold, sky blue, and they start at $1,000.
Yes,
and 5.6 millimeter thickness. It is super thin, with a camera bump that is very thick.
Well, that's the Plateau.
Oh.
I remember they called that the Plateau.
Right.
But it was really smart what they did with that.
Talk about it,
Because
Tommy.
it's not just a camera bump, right, where they just carved out the internals, put the camera up there, and said, okay, well, because it only has the one camera. It does not have multiple like the other new phones. But they have pretty much squeezed all of the non-battery components of the phone into the Plateau.
Which is pretty wild.
Which is pretty neat, yeah. And so they've got the cameras up there, the A19 Pro, kind of wild. And so the rest is basically battery. And so they say all-day battery life.
So they
whatever
say.
that is. So I get all-day battery life now.
So do I.
The 16 Pro Max.
Most of the time.
But you can pick up, just for the iPhone Air now, they do have, once again, a MagSafe battery pack.
Yes.
You can slap on the back of your iPhone Air, which does not have a number. Right? It's just, there's not a 17. It's just an iPhone Air. So don't know what that means. Don't know, not going to read the tea leaves, but it doesn't have a number. We'll leave it at that. What do you think of this thing overall?
Kind of cool. If I were in the market to get one, I'd be tempted to get this one, although I really want to touch it before I make that decision. It's an interesting looking camera. I don't know how much I like the profile. You know what I'm saying? With the super thin and then the Plateau. But I think it's an impressive. It's an impressive camera. Impressive phone. It's just that bumpiness is so bumpy. I don't know.
Show title.
Yeah,
the bumpiness is so
bumpy. I think we found our thing. But I do kind of like it. And I know, and maybe when he gets his hot little hands on it, I know that Riley ordered one of these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Gannon did too.
So. Gannon ordered one of the Airs as well.
He did. Yep.
Yeah.
So he lives just up the street. So maybe once it comes in, I'll meet him at the coffee shop and
you'll be able to judge it, as Colin would say. Yeah, I'm looking at the Plateau, in the picture, and it's super thin. I mean, people were holding. You sent me a video of some woman who was holding this up, the iPhone Air up, and she pulled a bobby pin out of her hair, and I think it was thinner than the bobby pin was, or if not thinner than, almost as thin as that bobby pin, which is darned impressive. But I also will tell you that. Benjamin Young Savage, who we've had on a couple of times, he was like, dude, what? Just give me a battery that lasts for 3 days. That's all I want. Put that in the phone. And there's something to be said for that, too. I have to see it. That's what I'm going to say, Tom. I like it. I think it's interesting. I wish it had more colors. This 2-color thing is not my party. But... And this is one of the ones that is cloud white, correct?
Yeah, space black, cloud white, light gold, sky blue.
Yeah, so I don't know. It's I don't know.
Okay, so lukewarm at best.
Okay, and let me just say out loud that overall, there's I'm running the 16 right now, which works great for me. I'm happy with the camera. I'm happy with the phone. I'm happy.
And which one do you have?
I think I have the 16. No, I don't have the 16. Sorry. I have 15. You have the
Pro
16.
Max, right?
Pro Max.
Okay.
And I got that because the camera was better in that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. This will be a theme straight across the board for all of these. For me, I think we're coming to a point in the iPhone life where my old one is still pretty darn good. And I can't see myself buying another one anytime soon. And this would be my cycle. This would be the year normally I would buy another phone. I don't feel the need to do that. Apple stockholder is not going to like that, but that's the reality.
Right.
I think they probably will. Apple probably.
And I think a
will.
lot of people are in that kind of cadence at this point too. It used to be when they were first coming out, you'd always get the new. Like
Every 2 years.
Original iPhone, you'd get I got the 3G, the 3GS, the 4. Then I started, I think, going into the every other year after that. I'm on the every other year cycle. Still, at this point, I got the 16 Pro Max last year coming from a 14. Right. And I don't know what I'm going to do next year. Wait and see what they have. But I think, so this one, they got rid of the iPhone 17 Plus. Mm-hmm. Or I'm sorry, the iPhone 16 Plus. There is no 17 Plus. And so it kind of fits in there. But I want to see it. I think it looks nice. The plateau, is chunky. So
yeah, it's pretty,
but
too.
it's functional. I like that it's doing something. I am still very curious to see like what does this mean in a year or two if they do the foldable thing. This seems like half of a foldable phone to me. I don't.
Yes.
I mean, it's certainly thin enough.
Yeah,
Slap another half on it. So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see Gannon's when he gets it. Look, see what Riley says. I want to see what people think of the camera. Like, there are compromises for sure. Like, battery's going to be a thing. Mm-hmm. Perhaps. I guess, it depends what you do with it every day. If you're on it nonstop, then most phones are going to have issues with that. Camera, if you're not really concerned about having, the higher end cameras that are in the Pro and Pro Max, mm-hmm. you're fine with it. So if you just want something thin, light, looks cool, starts at $1,000.
Yeah, which ain't cheap, by the way.
Nope,
it's a lot of money.
Yes,
a lot of money. And let's just say something too. You posted this. I didn't get a chance to see it, but the folks over at Tom's Guide, who I have written for on occasion, tried to bend it.
They did.
What was the story on that, Tom?
It didn't really bend. Yeah, so they did an interview with John Turnus and Jaws from Apple, Greg Joswiak, and it was funny. Jaws kind of tossed the phone at him. He goes, "Here, try to bend it." And they put a good amount of pressure on it. They said it flexed, but then it kind of went right back to flat. So looks like they've really done a lot, I think, to mitigate that. I think it's that titanium frame and everything. They said they put something around the battery as well to help with that little bit of flex that it can do. So it seems like they've done a good job kind of being ready for that. I'm sure once the YouTubers get it, we'll find out just how far it can flex.
Right. Yeah, of course. Within about 10 minutes of somebody having that. So anyway, it's definitely an interesting phone. I'm curious about it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And that may just largely be because I don't need a new phone. Mm-hmm. That could simply be it. I don't need a new phone. Not at this juncture. So, next up, we've got
an iPhone 17. They've gone back, Jeff, to the aluminum material for this, aluminum unibody, mm-hmm. A19 Pro. In fact, the A19 Pro is across the board with these. It comes in with a 6.3-inch display, 3,000 nits, ceramic shield too, so forth. Also has the center stage 18-megapixel front camera with the dual capture video capability. That's also across the board on all of these. The rear camera, you get the 2x telephoto and the ultra wide, which the ultra wide is not on the Air. So that I'd use I just about had a stroke there. Sorry. So what I'm trying to get to, the Air has 1x and 2x. That's all you're going to get.
Correct.
I use the 0.5 enough that I would miss it. I won't say I use it heavily, but I use it enough that I would miss it.
Same. I use it. I use it a fair amount. Yeah.
Yeah. So the 17 does have the 0.5 and the 1 and the 2x. Mm-hmm. MagSafe charging up to 25 watts, 50% in 20 minutes if you have a 40-watt adapter. So that's mm-hmm. cooking even more.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is nice. It's still USB 2 with the connectivity there on the bottom if you need to connect to something. Capacity-wise, a little or one less option, 256 or 512, no 1 terabyte for the 17. Some different colors. You get a black, lavender, mist blue, sage, and white. Starts at $799.
Yeah, which is
still going to be a great phone.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I had been buying phones for cameras for the most part. You know, in fact, that's why I have the Pro Max. That's why I have the 15 Pro Max, because I wanted the much better camera that was available in the 15 Pro Max than was available in the 15. For those of you who use 16s, the cameras are the same in the Pro and the Pro Max. Now that our Chris Freitag has beckoned me back into the land of full format digital cameras, I don't feel the need to have a killer camera in my phone. I just need to have a good camera in my phone. This is very tempting for me. It has the same chip as the 17 Pro and Pro Max, so it's A19 Pro. Display, is it the same display? That's things confusing to me. Super Retina XDR ProMotion. That's what all of them have now, right?
Right. Maybe a little different somewhere, but I'd say it's good enough. But they all have ProMotion at this point. Before, I don't think the 16 did.
No.
Thank you, because we had that discussion where I was like, I wouldn't want to buy that because of the 60 hertz versus 120. But
Yep, agree.
You're like, I don't know if you'd ever notice the difference.
Yeah, you sure would, because you know about it.
Right. It's probably, I would not, but I'd swear I did. Yeah.
Related to that. So the show that I'm directing right now, one of the characters comes out in a leather jacket, and they use their own leather jacket in this particular scene. And this takes place in the 20s and 30s, this show. And, they were in a Tommy Hilfiger jacket that has the Tommy Hilfiger logo on the left shoulder. And the costumer came over to me, sat down with me, and said, "So, how do you feel about the Tommy Hilfiger logo on the jacket?" And I was like, "What Tommy Hilfiger logo?" I didn't see it, and then I could not see it from that point forward. From that point forward, every time she stepped on the stage, it was like, "Oh, Tommy Hilfiger." I wonder, I wonder if Hugo Boss definitely in the 20s and 30s in Germany, but I don't think Tommy Hilfiger was making anything for anybody at that point in time. So anyway, all that to say is, yes, if it didn't have ProMotion, you'd notice it because you know it doesn't have it.
Very much.
But if you
and you would get used to it.
Yes, you would get
and
used
it'd be
to
fine.
it. Always on, 3,000 nits, a peak, 1 nit minimum. I turned my always on off. Don't need it. It's one of those things.
That's fair. That's why they gave you the switch.
Right. There's a switch.
You don't want
I turned it
That's
off. Right. It was just like, why do I need this always on? I don't need it always on. So I turned it off. So nice, but don't care. This to me is a very solid phone, I guess is what I'm saying. I would definitely consider getting this one if I were in the market. I'm again not in the market, so there's nothing here that makes me hop up and down and say that I absolutely need it. So there you go. That's me on that one.
All right.
iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, aluminum unibody.
What do you think of that new design?
The way it looks? Let me go back and look at it just to speak from a point of actual looking as opposed to... So when you're asking me that, what is the actual question? Because the shape of the phone is exactly the same. The bump is a little different. It follows the plateau, follows the same design as the Air, right? It's going in that direction. And the bottom line is I don't mind it.
Okay.
Don't mind. It does not bother me in the least. The bump. I think what I like about it is, if you have a phone now with the existing bump, you put it on the table and it rocks. This will not rock.
That is good.
I like that.
Yes.
Because The Rock, other than being a very bad actor.
The Rock says.
So, okay. I think the fact that you have 3 lenses sticking out a little further than the plateau it's still going to have a little rock to it, but it's not going to be the same as the bump that it has had previously that was just on one side of it. So I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a little more opinionated than the previous model because you've got kind of that plate on the back. It's not a plate, but it's the below the plateau.
Yes.
So it just looks different. And
I like that look, though.
Some people have been upset with it. Like, that is the ugliest phone I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know what it looks like? It looks like fancy trim on your Forester. That's what it looks like. You know what I'm saying?
Cladding.
What's that?
It looks like cladding. Great.
Yeah.
Sure, Apple would love that. But we do have colors. So we've tried for years that Apple has been very boring with the colors because we usually get the different shades of gray, maybe a blue. One year we got a nice green, I think, with the 11 Pro. I had that one.
Yeah, I had that one.
So we do have a bit of color. And the one color we have is very much a vibrant color. We have Cosmic Orange, which if you like orange, I think you'll like a lot. If you do not, you're going to hate it.
Yep. I kind of say I'm intrigued by that color.
Like
yeah, I'm in for a pound on that. Deep blue is just some version of space gray with a little blue in it.
I think it's bluer.
It is bluer.
No. They were like, we don't have a space gray or a black. And I'm like,
yeah.
Well, you'll have to. Well, you're out of luck.
Yeah, right. Tough luck. And then we have the silver, which looks an awful.
There's always a silver. Like, it seems like silver will never be omitted.
Cloud white.
Yep.
So yeah, the colors are nice. The orange is I kind of like it.
I do too.
The blue, maybe. I'm not a big blue guy. So I don't know. That's interesting. Interesting idea. Pro Display, our best ever 6.3 inch and 6.9 inch Super Retina XDR displays. Brighter.
I chuckle every time they say that. It's our best ever.
Yeah,
you would never come out and say, well,
this one sucks compared to last year.
It's not as good as last year's. But
last year's was better. Sorry we ripped you off. Camera control, there's a lot of feeling about that. Chris, again, being a very photography forward guy, Chris Freitag again, it was kind of like, why? Do you use that on yours?
I do, just to launch the camera app.
That's it. So it's an action button for you.
Yes, more or less.
Woohoo!
But every time I take a picture, though, I do just hit that and we're off.
It brings it up.
Yeah, I do sometimes grab it when I don't mean to, and I'm like, because it is kind of in the way, but it's okay.
All right.
But I don't do any of the controls. I tried, and it just didn't work for me. I know some people like it; they do use it. I think they've simplified the controls in iOS 26.
In a lot of places, by the way. That's not just here, but yes.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. Take it or leave it, really. It did let me take the camera off the lock screen because that's where I had it before. And so now I'm using that for something else, which is good. Nice. Speaking of camera, on this particular one, the Pro and Pro Max, we have a 0.5x, 1x, 2x, 4x, and an 8x. So even more zoom.
Yeah. Interesting. Again, that's the reason I always bought one of those, because of the camera. And
I'm curious to see what the 8X looks like. There's some discussion. I think it was on Threads, may have been Reddit. I can't remember. May have been both. How they were achieving the 4X with the 8X, or the 8X and the 4X. There was some cropping and things going on, kind of like they were doing with, what was it, the 2 and the 5 maybe, or the 1 and the 2. I'm probably misstating that somewhere, but just curious to see what the photos look like when people get them in their hands. I think it'll be fine, but I do like having the 5X. And I think the 8X will be nice. I do really like that they added a 4 is kind of a gap because 2 to 8 would have been too big of a jump.
Yes.
Because sometimes even 2 to 5 seems like a little bit too big of a jump. So I think that'll help out with that.
Yeah. Interesting. And what about that new sensor? The camera sensor.
What
the
about
front-facing camera? The square one, Tom.
the square? Like us. Well, that's me on the show.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was going to say, you're the box head, pal.
Yes, I am.
They stick a box over your head and paint. Sorry. May stick a bowl over my head. You stick a box over your head. Anyway, interesting that that chip that they're using, that sensor that they're using now, which basically lets you take landscape, even if you're not in landscape. You know, what we would know as landscape. I think that's going to be a really nice feature. It's an interesting idea, and also with center stage tied into that, the way they made it seem in the video, the center stage stuff, it really does a good job of focusing on you, even if other people are sticking their head in the picture. I don't know if you noticed that in the video, but you know, they had some guy try to photobomb, and the camera stuck on the person that was taking the actual video. So I'm curious about that for sure. That sensor seems really interesting to me because it's so often, you know, it's like, I got to turn my phone sideways to be able to get the picture that I want. But in this case, it's smart about that, and you should be able to get that capability without actually having to have your phone turned sideways. Although that's my preferred mode. Anything else about the phones, Tom?
I don't believe so.
Any of these interest you in particular?
No, I mean, having the 16 Pro Max not in the market, I think, as we talked last year when we did this recap, that if you're still on maybe an iPhone 14 model, this would be a solid upgrade. Definitely if you're on a 13, 12 or older. But I think the days of where you've got to upgrade every year are well in the rear view at this point. And if you just stick to a 2 to 4 year, depending on, and if you're a hobbyist and want to do it every year, obviously that's fine too. Like what you like. So, but they start at $1099 for the Pro, $1199 Pro Max. Storage starts at $256 on the Pro, goes 512, 1 terabyte, and then for the Pro Max, 256, 512, and then 1 terabyte and 2 terabytes. It's a lot of storage
for a phone. Yes. But there are people that are actually using these for film purposes.
Yes.
And again, you can still plug in an external hard drive and feed directly to that, which is pretty impressive. So.
Yeah, that's nice too. And we got a new case.
Did we, Tom?
We did.
Talk to me about it.
The successor to the ill-fated fine woven product line.
Yeah, which, by the way, I loved. But go ahead.
There's now a tech woven.
Yeah.
Yes. Technical, how do they say that? Technical blend of polyester or something. I think it looks pretty nice.
It does.
I think it looks good. Looks like it'll hold off the scratches, which the fine woven had some issues with. But I think they look pretty nice. We'll see when people get their hands on them. There is a crossbody strap, Jeff.
Yeah, you going to get that?
No. All right, Apple Watch.
Segue. Yes. All right, yes, Apple Watch. Yes, nice features. Some of those are going to come to the existing watches, some of the features that are there. But Series 11, some key pieces of this, a hypertension detection. Always good to see when your blood pressure is up. I like the sleep score feature. That's a new thing that I really like. That's one of the things I'm using my watch for now. Using gentler streak, and that kind of information might be nice. You know, giving you a score for the quality of your sleep. 5G connectivity available on cellular models for the first time. I don't know how big a deal that makes to me. Better front crystal with 2 times better scratch resistance due to a new ceramic coating and 24 hours of battery life with fast charging capabilities.
That's pretty good.
It is, yeah. That's
for an Apple
all right.
Watch. The Garmin fans will say, I'm getting 3 to 5 days.
Yeah, right.
Which is true, but
yeah,
a little bit different device.
No ring for me, by the way, Tom. Nope, don't think I'm seeing that ever. Hypertension detection
What?
is hypertension detection.
Whatever I struggled with earlier, I passed it.
Hypertension detection.
We're having a hard time here.
Hypertension detection. Hypertension detection. Important to note that this will be available on Apple Watch Series 9 and later, Apple Watch Ultra 2 and later, which means it won't be on mine, with watchOS 26. So
Yes.
That's a nice upgrade to some older models. That'll be a nice feature. Notifies user of high blood pressure, signals over time, and aims to notify over 1 million people of unknown hypertension in the first year. That's probably true because most people don't have any idea that their blood pressure is through the roof. That's a really interesting feature. Again, one of the biggest benefits of the watch for me, and in my mind, is its ability to be this kind of a tool for you. You know that it can track your sleep. It can help you see what your resting heart rate is. It has the ability to figure out if you're an AFib or not. You know, there are a number of things that make it super valuable in terms of keeping an eye on your health, which most of us don't do till we go to the doctor, you know, or until we have a pain in our side or in our head or, you know, some other place. So again, Apple Watch is, as much as I'm ambivalent about the one that I have, I do like it for the things I like it for. And, you know, there are other things I don't need it for, but I definitely think it's nice, and this is a nice upgrade.
I will be curious to see with the hypertension detection. So Apple, if they follow kind of what they've done with your wrist temperature, when you look at the vitals, it will show you, you're plus 1.2 over last night or whatever. But if you go into like Athletic or another app, it will actually show you the temperature. So like I see my last wrist temperature, 97.2. Like, all right, cool. Wonder if those third-party apps will be able to read any of that specific data. Like I don't know how specific the data will be, so that it may not be accessible. But we'll be curious to see if there's any visibility into that. Do want to touch very quickly. We've talked before how when we kind of do our wish list, like, hey, these are things I wish Apple would do. I am happy to see that with the sleep score, they are continuing to bring visibility to more of the data that's in the health app. We've asked for that because there's a ton of data in there, but it's hard to decipher and it's kind of a mess. So these things are all good. I like that they continue to build and improve those things, which is nice. No chip change for this model of the Series 11, same as the Series 10, which is fine. Nobody will know the difference. Nope. So yeah, I think, again, just like we said with the phones, it's incremental update. If you're on a Series 7, Series 6, it's going to be a very nice update. If you're on a Series 9 or 10, probably not much.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Also an Ultra 3, Tom.
Yes.
Talk to us.
It's our largest display on an Apple Watch, Apple said, because they've shrunk the borders a tiny bit, 24%. Sounds like
Just
a big
like
number. In
States
reality, it's very small. So will you notice? Maybe if you have two side by side, but otherwise probably not.
Right.
Same size case, no change there. The screen updates every second in always on mode. That's nice to have. Over 20 watch faces, including stopwatch and timer.
Yeah, a couple of the watch faces
support the faster refresh rate. So that's kind of nice because I do get a little frustrated when the timer dims and it doesn't.
No, you can't see what's going on.
Right. So that would be good. 42 hours of normal use, up to 72 in low power mode. 15 minutes of charging provides 12 hours of battery life. That's nice if you need a quick top off that's actually really good. Throw it on the charger while you're in the shower and you're good to go for the day, basically.
Yes.
Satellite connectivity.
Which I didn't try with the phone, but I definitely, with the watch, but I definitely tried with the phone while I was in the Sierra earlier this
Yeah, you sent me a message.
I sent you a message from a satellite. Yeah. And that feature has proven to be very valuable to a lot of people.
Yep.
You know, stuck in bad situations. It really is pretty amazing that little thing strapped to your wrist has the capability of, you know, talking to a satellite, which maybe allows you to talk to somebody else, has Find My via satellite. It sends the location via satellite every 15 minutes. Automatically contacts emergency services this is via satellite. If a car crash or hard fall is detected while you're unconscious and off the grid.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's a pretty amazing feature. It really is an amazing feature. So, the satellite connectivity to me is amazing. It really is amazing. You know, it's one of those things that makes it, you know, the price that you're paying for a watch that unlike the watches of old that you wound them and they worked fine on your wrist
forever. Right.
Yeah. You know, there's definitely some real value in those kinds of things. Again, in this one, blood pressure features.
Oh, that'll come over.
Yep.
Just like on the Series 11.
Yep.
Starts at $799. The same two colors. We've got the natural titanium and the black, which I think still looks really good. I'm just afraid I would bang it enough that it would scratch it, and then I'd see the shiny underneath and be aggravated. So I've been having some thoughts on this one. I am not currently planning to upgrade.
Yeah,
I think the Ultra one is good. I checked my battery. The capacity is still like 86%. We know that's not exact, but there are some days, like one day this week, and I joked in a Threads post with Bill McLean. We were talking about upgrading, and it's like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to. And then I followed it up because I was in the garage working out one night, and the watch was like 10%. Do you want to go into low power mode? That's what Apple did that on purpose. The timing is too coincidental.
Yeah.
So I'm going to see how the upgrade goes on Monday to watchOS 26, and if there's not too much of a performance degradation that comes from that, I'm just probably going to stay tight.
Yeah,
got some other things I'm thinking about buying. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Care to illuminate me?
Well, I'm kind of keeping my eye on the iPad refresh to see what happens if that happens this fall. If they go to M5 or what. Starting to use it more with iPad OS 26, and I would like to get that updated keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. There's some other stuff I want to do that's not tech related too. So we'll see where the priorities land.
Yes, of course.
Yes.
SE3.
Yes. Starts at $249. Has the S10 chip. Always on display, which it did not have before, I don't believe. The new sleep score has double tap gesture support, wrist temperature sensing, sleep apnea detection. So some of the things that have been on Series 9 and 10 for a while have come to the SE3, which I think has not been upgraded in about 3 years. So that's good. Starlight and midnight colors, 40 and 44 millimeter sizes. So if you're just looking to maybe experiment with an Apple Watch, don't really care too much about a lot of the more advanced things, just looking for some basic health features, and a watch, $250 is not bad to start.
Correct. AirPods 3. What do you think?
I think they look good. I think we'll get into the details. I have, I think, AirPods Pro 1 still.
Okay, I have the 2. Thank you, thieves.
The gift that has been keeps giving to show content.
Yeah.
I don't wear my AirPods a lot anymore. I used to wear them when I would go to the gym. Now the gym's in the garage. I've got the HomePod minis out there, so I don't wear them there. I do wear them when I mow for the noise cancellation, which is good enough for mowing. And that's about it. And so I'm not in really any hurry to upgrade because I don't use them a lot. And I've been thinking about if when I do upgrade, I may just try like the regular AirPods 4 when the time comes, because they've got some noise cancellation in them, which may be good enough for what I need.
Yeah, I use mine often for watching television. I'll come home from work, which is late sometimes, and need a wind down period, but don't want, the sound of machine guns blasting through the house at midnight. 1:30. And so I use them a lot for that. I think one of the most impressive features that's in this new set of AirPods is the live translation feature that I'm curious to test. That's the thing that I'm really interested in. But again, probably better for me to bone up on my Spanish, than it is to let the live translation feature be the thing. Although, as I said before, my wife, my daughter, and my mother-in-law were in the Czech Republic. I don't know whether or not that's not one of the languages supported currently, but I know they would have loved being able to put those in and hear, and understand what was being said in Czech, to be able to do that. So there's definitely something to be said for it. What was kind of cool to me was two people having those in and being able to talk in your native language to each other, and both people being able to understand each other in that particular instance. That's very, very impressive to me. Until Siri doesn't get it right and you get punched in the nose for saying something that you really didn't say.
That would not
you look very hot in those pants.
Meaning it was 95 degrees outside, but Siri interpreted it a different way, and then you get slugged. Right.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah. So, also wonder, too, socially, how awkward that's going to be.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't like having earbuds in when I'm talking to people.
Right. And I don't know how well people will. It will be. I want to see what I want to see is like the real world experience for people when they do that, and they've got theirs in. So say you and I are having this discussion. You've got your AirPods in. I've got mine in. It's translating. What that's like mentally.
Yeah, and what the delay is like.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that natural? Does it take a couple of interactions and it's like second nature at that point, or is it very strange and not very fluid because you're like, say something? Because even with like podcasting, if people put headphones on and they hear themselves through the mic for the first time, sometimes it throws people off.
It really does.
And so I'm just curious to see what that experience is going to be like.
Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, it doesn't work like NPR does, where you hear 10 seconds of, straight Spanish, and then the sound goes down a little bit, and then you hear the translation. It's like NPR all the time.
But significantly better active noise cancellation, so that when it comes time to upgrade, that might be enough to steer me. So it's 2x better than the Pro 2, 4 times better than the ones I have. So that's significant. So
yeah, that is. It's big.
That would be good for mowing, because even though it does help, it's still loud enough.
Yeah, I use my Beats.
It would be nice to trim that down some more.
For that, I use my Beats for mowing the lawn, and it's not nearly as good. The noise cancellation is not nearly as good as my AirPods Pro 2. Also, there's some heart rate sensor capabilities built into this now, too, which is kind of interesting. So it's able to read some of that. Better water, moisture, safety, what you want to call it.
Close enough.
Yeah. Stuff that keeps the water from getting inside. It's better, and actually some you turned me on to the foam tips for my AirPods Pro, and I love those things. And the new tips, of which there are now 5, right? 5. I think they sent ships with 5 sizes.
Sure. Yeah, don't remember.
It says it right there, Tom. New foam infused ear tips available in 5 sizes for better fit.
Okay.
But I think they're doing something like memory foam on that too, where it fits your ear. Look at the smile or the smirk on your face.
Well, Well, what I was going to say is, I said that. Maybe they didn't say that, and I said that. So
No,
I don't know
it
if
was.
it's 5 or not.
I remember. It used to be
Okay.
3. Now it's 5. That's
Right.
a good number.
Right.
$250
because I bought the Comply memory foam tips for so long, and there's 3 different sizes there,
Yeah.
I think.
Those are great, though. I've been so happy with those.
Yeah, I wonder how these will hold up because the Complies wear out after a while. Then you got to get a new set. At least they do for me.
Kind of hooey-gooey.
And so I'm wondering about that. But overall, I think a very nice update. I think the noise cancellation improvements will be good. It's nice if people don't have an Apple Watch, but they want to track heart rate and stuff during their workouts. That'll be nice. A little smaller. Hopefully they'll fit better. That's the one thing. I never really liked the fit as much as the original AirPods have. Now, the original ones obviously didn't have any noise cancellation or anything like that that they had to worry about back then. So, but the fit's always been a little for me. So maybe that'll be better for some folks as well. Starts at $249, Jeff.
Yep. And 8 hours of playback with active noise.
Or I should say
canceling.
is $249. I don't think there's an upgrade path from
No, there's not. And 8 hours of playback with noise cancellation on, which is pretty impressive because I've been on many a flight across country with those things in, and 3/4 of the way through the flight, I'm not listening to what I was listening to anymore. Yeah, so that's pretty nice feature. That gets you from L.A. or San Francisco to someplace in Europe and on one charge, which is pretty slick. Until 6 months later, when it doesn't stay charged that long.
Well, they're tiny little batteries. So.
They are so tiny.
It's amazing they last that long.
Yeah, it truly, that part is amazing. What Apple does engineering-wise in these things is pretty impressive. Really, really is.
Yeah.
Well, that's that, Tom.
It is. So overall, what'd you think of the event?
It was an Apple event. I really have to say that one of the things that I miss and that I wish they'd go back to is the live events.
Me too.
The fact that they're recorded, it just doesn't have the energy. It's manufactured energy, And I will say, I don't know who's teaching everybody at Apple to use their hands the way that they do, but they need to stop. They always have this same little way of testing, moving their hands, putting them together, coming apart, wagging them back and forth, putting them back together. And every single person.
Do you know how many millions of dollars they've spent perfecting that?
Yeah,
they don't care what we think. It works.
Well, let me just tell you.
And I'm sure most people don't pay attention, just us dorks.
Dude, it drives me crazy.
So, but yeah, I agree with you. I wish they would go back to live events. When they shifted to these events during COVID, we were like, wow, these are really well produced. They're really slick. They're great. Now they're almost too slick. Yeah. And but overall, it was a good event. These are all, I think, very, very good products. They're
good
all
stuff
mature products.
Yeah.
Right. And we're not seeing huge changes year over year, but we say the same thing when they do the iPads. We say the same thing with the MacBooks. Of course, you do get periods where you have that happen, like when the Apple Silicon transition happened, like that first M1 series, mind-blowing.
Yeah, right.
Like I remember I got that and I was telling you, dude, I ran it plugged into the monitor all day over HDMI, so it wasn't getting charged to the USB-C. Fans never came on, battery lasted. I still had like 50% of the battery or whatever. So it was crazy. So you do get those, but it's not realistic to think you get that every year.
Yeah, can I also say, and that's there's a link to we can put in the show notes to a strategery column that I read, and this is something I feel pretty strongly about. It says iPhone 17 and the sugar water trap, which is a reference to Steve Jobs talking to Scully about, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life or do you want to change the world? That was the line that he was, that this references, that this article references. The idea that's baked into us that something amazing needs to happen every time we see a new thing. And if it doesn't, Apple sucks. It's a mistake all the way around. I'm going to here's my anti-capitalist rant for, this 30 seconds. But this idea, I know, right, Tom? It's kind of politics. No, the idea that we have to constantly replace and sell and update to something new is insane. You can't do it any forever. It's just not one of those things. So, I'm perfectly fine with everything that came out. I'm not in the market right now. That's fine too. I don't need anything, but I think these are really great phones. I think it's a really great watch. The features that they've added are excellent. And if you're in the market, go. That's the thing to do. You're going to get something that you can use for many years. And that's the nice thing, because remember, tech for a long time was like every year, if you didn't get the newest thing, you install a piece of software and you couldn't use your computer anymore, or you couldn't use your phone. The fact that the phone that I got, the 15 Pro Max that I got a couple years ago, is still more than workable. That the watch that I got, that I'm ambivalent about, a couple years ago, is still amazing. That the MacBook Pro that I got a few years ago that got stolen, I could have still been using that M1 chip today without any problem. And that's amazing. That's amazing. So if you want something, by all means. But and what's on offer now is amazing. But you don't need to get something all the time. And that's kind of how I feel. So I like what's there. And I kind of like that orange.
All right, wrap us up.
All right, Tommy. Everybody and anybody can reach us at feedback@basicafshow.com. You can talk to us also via your favorite podcast app. You can leave us a voice message with, I think we've been left one, maybe two in the entirety of time that's been available. But it is possible to talk to us that way, so feel free to do it. Leave us a message if you choose to. Music, Psychokinetics, and Celsius 7, who, if you haven't listened to that episode, go back and listen to Celsius 7 as we visited with him a couple weeks back. Random Art Design does our show artwork, and that's us, Tom.
All right. That is it. So thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us again. If you're a new listener, thanks for checking us out. We appreciate it. Hope you'll stick around for future shows. And that is it for us for this episode. So we'll talk to you again in a few weeks. Until then, do take care.
See ya!